Drum set technique. Let's start with the ride cymbal. The grip for the ride cymbal is very natural, and some people call it the fulcrum grip. Let me explain it by asking that you put your hand out to shake my hand. So there's no tension. You put the stick in it, you create the fulcrum, then you put these three fingers on the stick, and there you go. Now, what happens oftentimes is players come in off the marching field and they've been playing with large sticks on a very hard surface, and they approach the ride cymbal in this way, where their elbow is up and they're hitting the cymbal like this. Over the long term, that's not going to be good. They're going to get fatigued. Their flexibility and dynamics on the ride cymbal are going to be hampered. So we want to try to go from this down to this. So it's nice and relaxed, and you have a nice flexibility and distance on your stroke. So ride cymbal technique is really a couple things. It's the grip, then it's the stroke. We want to get this stroke where it's not just minuscule like this. We want to engage the fingers and get about a 6 to 8 inch stroke, just to really get that cymbal to sing. Now, I'm not really using my arm. That's a different thing. However, depending on the volume and the tempo and some different things, I might engage some of my arm and I might engage some of my shoulder. I've been in situations where I kind of have to get all three levels going. So we have kind of the fingers, then we have the wrist, then we have the arm, then we have the shoulder. But to start with, really work on this fulcrum grip. And you can do it with or without a drumstick. I kind of like to start without a drumstick. Create the fulcrum, and then slap your palm with these fingers, making a noise. Now, a couple things are going to happen. You're going to get very tight here, and you're probably going to have the stick slip out of your hand. So those things are going to happen in the early stages. But work through it, really develop the strength right here, and you'll have a pretty nice ride cymbal grip, consequently a nice solid ride cymbal sound. And again, we want to deliver a full stroke and think about really the tip of the stick going beneath the cymbal. A lot of younger players, you know, they're kind of palm down and they play on top of the cymbal. But we're trying to get a thicker sound, so we're going to play thumb up, fulcrum, deep, long stroke, and imagining that our bead's going to end up there, and we're going to get a thick sound. Even at a softer volume, if we have all the right mechanics working, we can still get a thick sound. So that's ride cymbal grip. When we go down to the snare drum, we've discussed the snare drum grip in prior lessons. Regarding drum set, we're basically going to pivot from the cymbal down to the snare drum, and thus creating the match grip. So it's very natural. We're not going to play snare drum like this. It puts our elbow kind of wacky, and it's not really the best way to go long term. So, ride cymbal grip, snare drum grip. When we move up to the hi-hat, we can continue this same grip, and we want to have our hi-hat positioned where we're not drastically going up here, bringing our elbow up. I've seen that plenty of times. Or if the hi-hat's too low, then your wrist, you break the plane, and all sorts of funny things happen. So you want to have it a comfortable distance from your snare drum where you can actually play the hi-hat with your tip of the stick. We don't want to have it so high where we have to play with the shoulder. We do use the shoulder of the stick on occasion, but more often we're going to want a nice, clean, controlled stroke with the tip of the stick. So we have ride cymbal, snare drum, hi-hat, there are other styles of percussion, specifically marching, where a more rigid or stiff approach is needed for cleaning the line and for sound and all sorts of things. But in drum set playing, a looser approach is really necessary. We're going to need to, as I said, pivot from the ride cymbal to the snare drum to the tom-tom. So we really want to have a lot of flexibility going. We don't want to be in this very stiff, not move from here, taps, full strokes, where everything is so calculated. There's a lot of looseness and improvisation and creativity in drum set playing, so we have to be able to get anywhere, really. If our mind decides we're going to go here with the hi-hat, or here, or down to the rim, or up here, we have to really be able to move there and get good sounds. So really practice all these pivoting movements back and forth from this now new and improved loose match grip on the snare drum.